Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to Star Wars Day, which we were unaware that today is actually Star Wars Day, and Carrie let us know because may the 4th be with you. So there you go. So we thought we'd hold up our 2 Star Wars panels to start the day. Hopefully you can see that. If you are a Star Wars fan, we do have those. The small print that we had is gone, but we have both panels yet, and another blender that's got some circles and miscellaneous characters on it.
Badges for the different characters.
There you go. So that's May the 4th be with you day. And that's hard to say with a straight face. All right. We talked on Friday about proper cutting. And cutting is really important for accuracy. And there are pre-cuts that you can buy, so it saves you the cutting time. But if you know how to cut, you can create your own pre-cuts. One of the things that many fabric manufacturers do is they make fat quarter bundles, or they pre-cut fat quarters. And as we've had more and more new quilters, people ask, what's a fat quarter? So we're going to start with the basics. And today the only pre-cut we're going to talk about is fat quarters. A fat quarter is a 1/4 yard of fabric. It's just a different shape than what you're used to. If you come into the store and we grab a bolt of fabric and you say, give me a 1/4 yard, we cut it at 9 inches. And oh, it's miraculously cut. And it looks like this. It's 9 by approximately 42. Fabric used to be 44, 45 wide. Over the years, it's gotten a little bit skinnier. So usually you can count on about 42 inches of width. Flannel is actually even a little bit thinner than that. So that's what you get if you order a 1/4 yard, long and skinny. I'm going to just lay that out here. Then if you keep rolling off the bolt and you want us to cut you a fat quarter, we cut at a 1/2 yard. So this is 18 inches wide. And then we take our scissors and we split it on the fold. And this is a fat quarter. It's the exact same amount of fabric as this. It's just a better shape for quilters. Why is it a better shape? Because if I want to make anything larger than a 9-inch square, if I'm getting straight yardage, this is only 9 inches. So if I want to make a 10-inch square, I can't do that. But out of a fat quarter, I can get 2 10-inch squares and still have an 8-inch piece left over. If I want to make bigger projects, things like placemats, fat quarters are a perfect size. So it's just a handy size and shape. And I'm going to set those out of the way. So keep in mind that we're looking at a piece this big, 18 by about 21, give or take a little bit, and that is before it is washed. If you buy pre-cut fat quarters, do not wash them before you use them because they will shrink and they won't quite be 18, and all of your patterns are going to call for 18 by 21 usable inches. But that doesn't mean they won't fade, or run. Be sure to use Color Catcher or some other product so you don't have any issues. So what can you do with a fat quarter? Lots of things. Need a little bit of a stretch here. So this is just a simple 16-inch pillow form. It fits my fat quarter really nicely. So 2 of these and I've got a pillow out of a 1/2 yard of fabric, but I have 2 different sides. If I buy a 1/2 yard, it's all one fabric. So 2 fat quarters is the same amount of fabric, but it gives me more options. Okay. And then we're going to talk about quilts for a minute. There are many, many patterns that are designed for fat quarters. We have a series that we've come up with here at the shop that are called Mix 6. And what Mix 6 means is you're going to mix 6 fat quarters together. We sell these little bundles that are 6 fat quarters that all coordinate. So what can you do with that? It doesn't seem like very much fabric, 6 pieces this large, but if you think about it, that's 1.5 yards of fabric, which is plenty of fabric for a baby quilt. So behind me, some of these fabrics and others were used to make our cute little safari life. Our Mix 6 pattern comes in 4 different sizes, excuse me, but they also come with or without border. These two are the same quilt. This one has no borders, just a binding, and we snuck in a cute little flange. This one has 2 borders. So depending on how large you want your quilt. But this quilt is made from this much fabric. And that's it. Other things, just to give you a feel for size and style, it's a nice size for a baby quilt or a small throw. You also have the ability to make one less row, and that makes it square, which for me, our dining room table or kitchen table is 70 inches across. So a 40-inch or so square is the perfect size for a table topper for us. So I use this pattern a lot and leave off just one row. And I have a great topper. It also has nice space on it. These bigger squares are 7 inches, I think, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
They're great to embroider in if you're a machine embroiderer. They're great for fussy cutting as well. And many of the smaller panels fit right into that space also. So you can do a lot with these patterns. This is another baby quilt size. How do we want to do this?
You want to sit?
There you go. I'll stay sitting and I'll have a show behind me. How's that? So that's another baby quilt size. Again, 6 fat quarters. The next thing is, these first. This is our Mix 6 table runner. This pattern comes with placemats as well as a table runner. This is 4 placemats and 1 table runner from 6 fat quarters and your border fabric. So that's a really nice size runner and placemats. Red tote. The next is the Mix 6 tote. This again, cutting is very similar between these. Once you're used to one pattern, it's really easy to make them. This is 6 fat quarters, and you'll be able to get a tote or the outside of 2 totes if you use a different lining fabric. So that is the Mix 6 tote. Next set of totes, this is our pattern called My Favorite Tote. And My Favorite Tote can be made a couple different ways. This is 1 fabric on the outside, 1 fabric on the inside, and the third one is the pocket. So this is great for 3 half yards of fabric. Some of our bundles we do 4 half yards. You'll see those on our website already coordinated for you. Same with the new fruit. However, there's no reason that we can't mix this up, which is what we did on this one. This has 1 fabric on the front, 1 fabric on the back, 1 fabric this side of the lining, 1 fabric this side of the lining, and then pockets and handles. So this is the same tote as the purple and the fruit. It's just scrappier. Half yard on the outside, 2 fat quarters on the outside. So you can play with the fabric any way that you want to. Next pattern is one that's called Crossroads, and Kay and Cheryl are going to hold that up. Crossroads is also done with fat quarters. It comes in a variety of sizes. The smallest size without borders is 48 by 55. The one behind me has borders. That's 60 by 65. Crossroads is a really nice pattern because, again, you've got some bigger spaces so that if you have fabric that has larger prints, you have the ability to really show those off. So that works really well.
6-pack plus your background.
Excuse me. Thank you, Cheryl. It is a 6-pack plus your background fabric. And on here, the background is this light blue. So it's a 6-pack, meaning 6 fat quarters, and then yardage for your coordinating background fabric. And again, this pattern also goes all the way up to a king size, 115 plus. And that is, again, can be cut from fat quarters. A lot of patterns, when you use fat quarters, are fairly scrappy looking you have the ability to use less. For instance, there are patterns that will say use 12 fat quarters or 20 fat quarters. Again, remember, a fat quarter is just a half yard cut in half. So if they call for 20 fat quarters and you don't want to use quite as much variety, you want it less scrappy, you can use 10 half yards or 10 fat quarters, or excuse me, 20 fat quarters where 2 of every one are doubled. So you've got 2 of each type, a total of 20 fat quarters, but only 10 prints or designs. Hopefully that made sense. It sounded cockeyed when I said it. But Crossroads works great for that. Next one is a runner called Sticks and Stones. And this again is made from a fat quarter bundle. That one is our bright spring example, kind of screaming bright springtime. This one I'm going to grab while Kay and Cheryl hold that one. This one is a darker tone. Exact same pattern, totally different look. Just depends on what fat quarter bundle you choose. So that gives you a feel for things that are out there. I'm going to talk just for a minute about some things that are on our website. You'll see fat quarter bundles. The nice thing about that is so many websites, when you're trying to coordinate a project or fabric, everything shows you a little square of one fabric. We have a few of those out there, but what we've added is a lot of different bundles that are already coordinated for you. So you'll see many, many 6-pack bundles on our website. You'll also see, these will say 4 fat quarters and a half a yard. And what those are, it's equivalent to 6 fat quarters. It's just that the last yard is typically a bigger print, and we don't want to cut that into a smaller piece. So you get a half yard of this, and you get 4 fat quarters that match with it. So you'll see those 4 fat quarters and a half yard. Again, equivalent in fabric to a 6-pack, but just a little bit different shape for you. You'll also see half yard bundles. These are 4 half yards. So this would be a cute little baby quilt in the Mix 6 baby pattern, but boy, it would be fun for a runner at the cottage in something like this. But this is half yards, it's not fat quarters. But I know how to make a fat quarter. I take my half yard and I cut it in half. So 4 half yards equals 8 fat quarters. So I have a little bit extra because I only need 6 for this, but I should have enough to do the back of, I'll be real close to having enough to do my back. So remember that 4 half yards equals 8 fat quarters when you see those bundles. We also have the sewing bundle, the tote that I showed you with the gray fabrics. We do have those up on the site, a cute little sewing line. The quilt that we have back here, we used a panel that comes with the kit. It has a panel that was made to make stuffed animals. There was a lion, a zebra, an elephant, and somebody I'm forgetting, and a giraffe. Thank you very much. So instead of making this one into a pillow, we sewed it on the quilt, used his ear and his tail, and his backside and his other ear are on this side of the quilt. We do have that in a kit in both the brown colorway. I have one blue at home. There's one blue. I took it home to take a picture of it to put it on the website. So there's one set of blue. There is a little book panel that coordinates with that, and it makes a little fabric book that's real sweet. Little pockets in it. Very cute little book, and we have a number of these panels left there on the website as well. And there are a lot of bundles of fat quarters. This line of fabric, there were probably 20 different bolts maybe in all different colors. And so you'll see this little pattern with the X in many different shades. Some of these other pieces have animals on them. There's a whole variety. This is the other colorway. There's rhinos and hippos on here that are real cute. And this is the shade of the blue line that the other set comes in. There's some little elephants here. If you're looking for anything in this line, if you keyword search the word safari, because line is called Safari, So up in the top right-hand corner of the shopping page, there's a little magnifying glass. Click that, put in the word Safari, and you'll see all the different fat quarter bundles that go with that, this particular panel in that kit. I think that's about it. That was a lot on fat quarters, but there's so much that you can do with them. It's a fun size and shape piece of fabric. And now that you know 2 fat quarters equal a half yard and 4 fat quarters equal a yard, you can do your own math and figure out what you need. But it is, again, a much more quilter-friendly piece of fabric. So keep your eye out. You'll see bundles all over the store, and look for different projects. One last thing, all of our Mix 6 patterns are on the website. They're also now all set up as downloadable, so you can either purchase a pattern, they're $7.99 for us to mail you a hard copy, and they're online downloadable at a little bit of a discount, and then you have it right in your hand as soon as you want it. So visit the website. The website is sewingbasket.biz. B as in business, I, Z as in zebra. And we really appreciate all of your support over these last number of weeks. We've had a number of people today say, so when are you going to open? We'll let you know. You'll hear it on the news before you hear it from us. We'll keep our fingers crossed that it'll be sometime this month. They say the 26th. With any luck, it might be a little sooner, but we'll all stay safe until then. All right. Have a good night, and may the 4th be with you.
See you tomorrow. Bye.